my neighbors were a cow pasture and a sheep farm. Like, I grew up between those two. So we had to, like, if you wanted a friend to come over, like, that was a whole day event. Yeah. So we had a swimming pool in the backyard. That was what my parents spent money on. They spent money on things that the whole family could enjoy, not just one of us or me or my sister or my parents. Like, if they were going to spend money, it was going to be on a TV that we all watched. It was going to be on a vacation that we all went on. It was going to be on a swimming pool that we could all use. And so we all had to, like, work and keep the pool clean and take care of it. And my mom and dad had an agreement. Like, my dad did everything on the outside and my mom took care of everything on the inside. And if anything from the outside crawled into the inside, he had to take care of that too. So it was a very, on the weekends we all slept in maybe an extra hour. But as soon as somebody's up in the kitchen, everybody's up because they're hungry.
It's amazing how having a pool taught me a lot also. Because kids would come over and then when it was time to leave, they would leave. Mm-hmm. And then my mom would say, well, what about all those towels, the garbage? You got to pick all that shit up. And I would pick it up. Mm-hmm. And then we had an above-the-ground pool. Mm-hmm. But then my friends got a below-the-ground pool. Mm-hmm. And I would go over there, and at the end of the day, the same thing would happen to them, but I would always stay around and help them pick up.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
His father would always go, this kid came from a good house because all your other friends boogie with noogie. He hangs out and cleans the towels and fucking... So it's amazing the work. I couldn't imagine. Like, I remember one of the toughest jobs I had was for like a year. My stepdad bought into a flower shop, and you had to get up in the summers like at 4.
Oh, early, yeah.
And go to New York, pick up the roses and the gladiolos and all that shit, and then de-stem the fucking roses with a thing in your hand. Oh shit! That was the worst summer of my fucking life, man. Mm-hmm. That was the worst summer ever of just de-stemming roses from like 6 to 9, 6 to 10, de-stemming, and you'd get your little hand caught, and it was a fucking nightmare. I did a lot of shitty stuff. The worst second thing, my mom made me stick my hand in the tampon box. One time she told me...
You use tampons?
Yeah, my mom told me women put money in there because my mom had a bar.
Oh.
So part of my angle, you had to clean the fucking bathrooms.
Oh, wow.
So I kept saying, Mom, what are those little things that women leave money in there for you? Go ahead, stick your hand in there.
Was there any money in there?
Fuck no.
It's like, I never stuck money.
And in those days, it weren't like tampons. It was like these big
pads.
fucking Kotexes that looked like a fucking shell from the ocean.
It
was just like a fucking,
diaper,
like a small mattress that folded like a fucking mattress for it was crazy.
Yeah.
It really was what the lesson she made me do. And you're right, I never bitched. I knew I had no fucking option.
No.
I had no option in that situation. There was because she would cut me an offer I couldn't refuse. Like, here's the deal. This is what you want. This is what you could get. But you got to do this. Once you're finished with all this, then we'll do that. And then we'll move on. So it's kind of a fucking
and when you're a kid, you have the energy to do all that kind of stuff. So I was just like, okay, all right, I know I can do this. I just, like, clean the house really fast or whatever it was that we had to do. But my mom never, like, made it, like, we used to beg my dad to mow the lawn because, like, he had a riding lawnmower and that was like driving, So but my dad was like, nope, this is my lawn, like, he had a certain way that he did it. But then finally, eventually, like, once we were better at, like, driving cars and stuff, he would let us, like, mow the lawn.
You got boys in your family? You have brothers?
No, just one younger sister.
Wow,
just one.
So 2 girls.
Two girls.
Tough...
Yeah, my poor dad.
The father-daughter relationship is, like I was telling you this before, I was patting her head, and then she was watching the Wally Kazam, whatever the fuck she watches, and I'm just thinking about how my wife was like, I'm taking her for a walk, and how scared I was.
Yeah.
I was like, where you gonna go? Fuck, you gonna go? Studio City, walking out, stay in the house. Is air conditioned?
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm like, I didn't go for my walk yesterday. We drove to the pool. Mm-hmm. So the whole time, you think all these thoughts, and then I started thinking about my mom for some reason, how she was not into me having fear.
Right.
Like, at any fucking level. The only thing she didn't want me doing was crossing Broadway. When we first came from Cuba, we lived a block away from fucking Broadway in New York City.
Right,
That's the biggest fucking street in the fucking world. At that time. It was 1960 fucking 6. By 68, I was playing in front of the house, and she would go, I don't give a fuck what you do. You cross the streets that way, laterally. Mm-hmm. I don't want you going across from Amsterdam, and I don't want you going across Broadway. And that's what I did all day.
Yeah.
It was as soon as I seen her head go back in that fucking window, me and my buddies went to the corner of Broadway, and you had to outrun the fucking cars in those days. There was no
Oh my God.
10 seconds
Really?
with a fucking hand and 20 beep, 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 and some fucking blind dude with a stick. That shit changed. You had like 3 seconds to run around the fucking street.
That's hysterical.
That's really fucking hysterical. That's the only fear she ever told me not to do. And I did it anyway. But everything else was like, and we're talking about what I saw, like a mom's encouragement is different than a dad's encouragement. You were saying that when something bad happens, you call your dad.
Yeah, well, like when I have to tell when I have something that I just want to talk about or I'm upset about, I might call my mom. But if there's something I'm really upset about, I'm going to tell my dad, because my dad is going to give me the kind of sympathy that I need. Like a dad's because if I'm really hurt, and I tell my dad, he's going to be just as equally hurt as I am. Whereas if I tell my mom that I'm hurt, she's going to be upset, but she doesn't have that kind of deep-hearted, she has a deep love for me, but a dad's love with his daughter is like he feels your pain so immensely.
It's horrible.
When I remember the first time I was ever upset about a guy, it's making me tear up, but I told my dad that he had cheated on me, and my dad was so upset that he started crying over the phone, and it's the first time I'd ever heard my dad cry. Sorry.
That's all right. We're getting emotional in here.
But yeah, that's
not Lee, but I get emotional.
I'm emotional.
But
He's
that's
Jewish,
different, my mom doesn't cry, she was the strong one, my dad is a little bit more emotional.
It's always scarier meeting dads as a guy going to meet a girl's parents. I'm really cool with my girl's mom, but the dad isn't really in the picture, so it's kind of this ominous, scary. The first girl, my first ever girlfriend, she was adopted, and her parents were older, really older, 70 when she was in high school. Mm-hmm. And I went over, and her dad brought me up to the attic and had guns, which in Massachusetts isn't a normal thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I was freaked out. That was my first introduction to it.
Yeah.
But it's always, I'm excited, not excited, but in 15, 20 years with Mercy, imagining what you're going to do, Joey.
I was married before when I was locked up, and had a baby girl with it. And I was tight with the girl till she was we really were tight till she was about 10. And then the last 5 years, it just kept getting worse and worse because of the mom. And now we haven't spoken in 8 or 9 years. I think it's 9 years. But it's so weird. It changed who the fuck I was. Our relationship definitely changed my dynamic as a man, as a man's thinking. But now with this daughter, it's I don't know. I feel more connected with her. It's I know what she's going through when she's going through it. We're going in fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.